Hey, good morning. It is Rachel Feldman from Rachel's Wellness. So, I wanted to tell you guys about a not so fun experience that I had the other day. I woke up in about 4 a.m. My daughter, I could hear her crying. She's only about 3 years old. And I went to get up and I could feel that my eye was not feeling so good. And when I went to look in the mirror, I noticed that my eye was swollen. By the time I woke up, my eye was pretty bad. And all I can tell you is that I either must have eaten something or I touched something or ingested something, who knows what. But my body was in a very high hyperimmune state. And that just means that, my body was having an intense allergic reaction to something. In the weeks prior, I was trying to introduce a food that I once showed up on an allergy test as being intolerant to. And let me just say, some of the best foods out there, they might be poison for you. So even if it's a superfood, be careful, because if that food is not right for you, you could experience any of the following: a headache, a mood change, your belly might have some gurgling, your lower back could hurt. You might even feel all of a sudden a little irritated or nauseous. I mean, sometimes it's not just our body that has these reactions. Sometimes I know when I eat certain things that I don't feel good, my neck hurts. And I actually feel like I need to crack it, but there's nothing to crack. That's a sign that you have an intolerance. Everything doesn't need to be an actual IgG or an IgE food sensitivity or intolerance or allergy. It can just be that it doesn't work for your body. When you eat it, there is some kind of reaction in your body that's happening. That doesn't always show up on a blood test. Doesn't always show up on a skin test. And that's where we really have to be a food detective and a spy and figuring out what works for us. So getting back to my story. In the weeks prior, I was adding, yeah, this is my great superfood that I was trying to add back in, flax meal. So, yes, flax is wonderful. Oh my God, so great for omegas, and it's wonderful for fiber and digestion and helping to clean out the waste from your body. And I suggest it for a lot of people, but for me, for this lady, doesn't work so well. And I was eating it, and I was eating it for a few weeks, and everything seemed to be okay. And I was excited, thinking, oh wow, I'm adding in this great superfood. But little things started to happen. I started to wake up at different times of night. I felt very hot prior to going to bed. My mood would change when I would eat it, and I just thought, it's nighttime, and I'm eating it, and maybe I'm just tired. But I started to notice, because I started to food journal what was going on, that the roof of my mouth was kind of a little itchy, and I was a little more phlegmy than usual. And one night I kind of felt like my tongue was a little sore. Now, that happened for a few weeks, and I just thought, oh, well, it's allergies. It's also the holidays. Maybe I'm a little stressed, because all of these can be factors into our how we, one, digest, and two, it can also be a factor in your adrenals. And your adrenals are a big component and a big factor into your allergies and hives and all that stuff as well. So, I was trying to figure it out. But then when my eye swelled, it all made sense. And I knew here my body had been fighting this off for the time that it was able to. And it was having these small histamine reactions. But eventually, my trash can became full, as I say. Everyone's got a certain amount in their trash can. And when it spills over, we can have whatever reaction we have in whatever part of our body. For me, my eye swelled. For another person, it could be that they end up, having a gallbladder attack. Or for somebody else, it could be that maybe they have a hemorrhoid. Or for maybe a baby, it would be colic. Or maybe for somebody else, they would get a sinus infection. Everyone manifests how their body reacts in a different way. It's what gets a little confusing. But the most important part of this entire story that I just told you is We have to be a detective. It's not always so clear. And some of the things that we think are going to be good for us are the very things that are poisonous. And so what was so confusing, and which is why it is so great to sign up with someone like me, a holistic health coach, a person that is very skilled and knowledgeable in how to do elimination diets and how to walk you through and handhold, through doing a food diary and helping you to figure out what you're sensitive to and what you're not, and see if when you do introduce that food back in, if there is really a true sensitivity, or if it was just your body being intolerant to that food because maybe you weren't rotating it out enough, which is another thing that is very important. A lot of people, if you eat the same food every day, a lot of people will become intolerant to it or sensitive to it. Another thing is sometimes the very foods that you crave are the very foods you're intolerant to. I know this is a lot of information and it can be so overwhelming, which is why it is so important that you contact somebody like me. I'm a holistic health coach. I'm also a person that suffered for many, many years with digestive distress. And, as I said in this story, and the reason I wanted to tell you this is sometimes it's not always so clear, even for myself. I thought maybe I can introduce this back in, did a little test. I wasn't sure if it was stress, wasn't sure if my adrenals were a little tired, wasn't sure if it was the outside environmental allergies. But after figuring it out, after putting it on paper, I knew, yes, it was flax. So if you have any questions, please contact me at www.rachelswellness.com. I'd be more than happy to help you through figuring out what your allergies, intolerances, and sensitivities are. Sometimes that food that you're eating can cause such inflammation in your body that you end up with some kind of chronic immune disorder. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help you figure out what foods are working for you and what foods aren't. So I look forward to hearing from you. Have an awesome day. And you know what? I guess I'm going to be living without flax. Talk to you soon.